Hi, welcome back to Part 5 Blender Tutorial for Beginners. Today, we will learn about an important tool in 3D modeling software called Subdivision Surface in Blender to make a simple lounge chair. In addition, we'll set up fast viewport rendering in Blender's Cycles engine. Let's dive in. I will start with the default cube, and I adjust the cube and add a plane from the Add section, scaling it by pressing S. Then I go to Edit mode by pressing Tab and add some subdivision while all object vertices are selected for more segmentation to work with. I rescale the geometry toward the Y-axis by pressing S and Y. Since the shape is scaled on the Y-axis, I will add loop cuts on the X-axis by pressing Ctrl+R. While in Edit mode, from the right Properties section, select Modifier and press Add Modifier. In the extended list, choose Geometry, and then Subdivision Surface. Subdivision will apply to the object by default, and from the settings, you can change the level of subdivision in Viewport and rendering. You can select a lower number in the viewport for a better workflow during modeling and a higher number for rendering when the smoother surface is rendered. For now, as you can see, I'm selecting the geometry's main vertices and reshaping them while the modifier recalculates the second layer of subdivisions. In this method, you can easily work with fewer vertices and have an overall perception of the shape of the object without adding too many vertices or faces during modeling. Now I'm selecting vertices, holding Ctrl to select two edges, and selecting vertices between them. Using the Move option, I reform the shape. As can be noticed, the Subdivision Surface modifier adds subsegments and reorients the normal according to the main object geometry. This method helps the process become much faster, regardless of having a massive amount of polygons during modeling. You can subscribe and like if you enjoy so far. Another tip for reforming the object, as you can see I'm currently using, is enabling the toggled X-ray mode from the top right toolbar. This tool allows you to see through objects and select edges on the other side. An important note: you must be careful about moved or reshaped surfaces according to the depth of geometry to avoid reshaping incorrectly selected edges or surfaces on the object. You can keep the viewport level of subdivision as low as possible, even before applying the smooth modifier. During edge selection and reforming, you must be careful not to overlap vertices. That's why I keep checking the moved vertices after each transform. As long as the Subdivision Surface modifier is based on the main object segmentation and edge length, for smoother and better object edge transformations, it is recommended to have secondary loop cuts or support loops near the borders, as I'm moving these vertices closer to the object's hard normal transformation. After the model has the desired form, you can increase the subdivision level for smoother surfaces. Also, you can enable the On-Cage tool at the top of the activated modifier list for adjusting the actual boundaries of the object. From the top right of the Layout section toolbar, under the Viewport Overlay Tools, you can enable statistics to show the number of objects, vertices, edges, faces, and triangles in the 3D scene. After finishing the surface, I add Shade Auto Smooth and manually adjust the smoothness. I enable Ignore Sharpness for the hard edges to have smoother edges all over the object. Since the angle of faces is higher at some parts, such as the front of the lounge chair, the angle level must be increased to ensure the smooth modifier applies to those particular surfaces. Now for a better visualized object, I adjust the rendering engine and give the object basic materials. After all, first apply the Subdivision Surface, then the Shade Auto Smooth modifier. In the scene, switch the engine to Cycles, enabling GPU as the main rendering processor and enabling a low-profile denoiser for the viewport. Enable high settings for rendering and check if the denoiser is using the graphics card. Then add a BSDF material as default, selecting the color tone, decreasing the roughness for a more reflective surface, and adding a bit of metallic. I do the same with a black profile for the plane under the object. Then you can create quick lighting by removing the default light and adding an area light, scaling it up and transforming it above the object with power set around 500. I add duplicated and angled lights for better dimension from two different sides at a 45-degree angle toward the object. There you go. You can enable viewport rendering and check the object. By pressing Tab, you can check the topology of the object as well. That's it for Part 5, Basic Subdivision on a Cube and Making a Lounge Chair. In Part 6, we will explore more by working on the Subdivision Surface modifier in Blender. See you in the next part.